Once upon a time there was a king. He had two children, a daughter and a son. One day he felt a desire to travel. He told his chief minister that he was going on a trip. He asked the minister to look after his children while he is away. The minister asked the king not to worry about it. He always took care to give food to both the children. Yojana, the daughter, was eating well, but Vikas's health deteriorated. The king returned from his tour. He wanted to see his children. The minister brought both the children before him. The king asked why was it that Yojana or the plan had grown up well and Vikas the development looked so small. The minister replied that he had given them the same food, but Yojana ate more and grew up fast while Vikas hardly ate anything. So Yojana grew up and Vikas's growth was stunted. In the same way, the elected representatives of people run various government schemes and prosper like Yojana did, and the money allotted by the government for these schemes never reaches the villagers. For example, an amount of 10 rupees is allotted for developmental work for your village, and there is a problem of water shortage in the village. If that money is spent to solve such problems, there will be an overall development in the village, isn't it? Instead, if we give a loan only to Lakshmi Bai when there are many other women who need the money, will the village benefit from it? No, that is not a sign of development. In fact, it's the opposite. Like Yojana was growing and prospering, but Vikas was undernourished. That's why this Indo-German watershed development program was started for an overall development of the village. We do not want this sort of Yojana in our village which just grows consuming our resources, and development does not take place. I was coming on the jeep to the site to show our work to the watershed development officers. Some children were grazing their cattle in our area where there is a ban on grazing as the watershed work is going on. As the children spotted our vehicle, they took their cattle away. But we had seen the cattle grazing in the watershed area. So I got off the jeep and followed the cattle. The children had disappeared. They were aware of the ban and that we charge a fine of 20 rupees per cattle if they are found grazing. Still they were grazing their cattle there. We found the cattle though the children had disappeared. I ran after the cattle and brought them back on the ridge of the watershed area. If I'd met the children, I would have talked to them, made them understand that this is the watershed land, the work is in progress and that they were warned before about it. I would have asked them the reason for their carelessness. If they had been open about it, we would have fined them some token amount. But they ran away.
Your cattle were found in the watershed area where grazing has been banned. We had told you about the ban on grazing. We even visited your village, didn't we?
Well, our children did not know about it. They made a mistake. The cattle went astray and then they brought them back.
If you continue to make such mistakes, how will our work progress? Our effort would go waste. We will not achieve anything.
This was your first time. Next time it will be someone else's first time. Then what?
If cattle come in the watershed area, we are not going to be considerate because we have taken up a big task. There are saplings which get destroyed. CCTs also get damaged. We cannot start again, can we? So we cannot consider your request. You have to pay 20 rupees. And next time it will be 50 rupees. Remember. If you take away your cattle just now, at this moment, it will be 20 rupees. Tomorrow we will add the expense for the fodder we feed to your cattle to the fine. So you should pay immediately and take your cattle away. Otherwise the fine will increase. So before the sunset, you should get your act together and we will release your cattle. We will give the receipt for it. It's all clear.
I agree we made a mistake. Please charge 10 rupees per cattle and finish it.
We can't do that. Try to understand. We are finding people from our own village. We are following the rules that we have fixed.
We have been taking our cattle to a faraway dry patch because we want to bring some changes. So it's unfair if people from other villages behave like this.
You can see our people till very late in the evening looking after the area.
Please forgive us. We apologize.
You have no other option, so please pay the fine. No, it will be 20 rupees. It's not just you. If my child had been caught, he would also have to pay.
Forgive us this time. I accept we made a mistake. Reduce the fine to rupees 10 as there are a lot of cattle.
Once we have taken a decision, there is no point in going on arguing. And our people informed you about it. Asked you to be careful as the cattle can ruin our work. We came to your village and announced it. Isn't it true? Both of them are aware of our work in the watershed development area and the amount of the fine that is fixed. But still they are asking for concession. Our committee will not accept it. They will have to pay 20 rupees. Why can't you pay such a small amount? There is no use talking about so many things. The discussions will not change anything. You have no option but to pay 20 rupees. Aren't we neighbors? Aren't we close to each other?
Yes, it is true.
How did the cattle come this side then?
The children didn't know about it. They made a mistake.
Even our children had gone there by mistake and were caught. We are from this village, but we were also fined. And they had really gone there by mistake. Everyone knew they had gone towards the lake, but still we were charged. The reason for the fine is that our work is not destroyed. So your position in the village does not count really. Everyone has to pay the fine. The cost of a project runs into lakhs of rupees. For us, it's more important than our crops. It's like taking a crop. There are saplings and trenches, etc. And the village is going to benefit from it. Why do you think we have appointed some 15 people on the committee? It's for the conservation and protection of our resources. That's why we have the committee. Well, either pay at the rate of 20 rupees or it will double up.
Alright, I'll borrow the money today.
Okay, borrow 500 rupees today. For all the cattle it's 500 rupees. You can return it tomorrow. And take the receipt. Don't pay to anyone without getting the receipt. The secretary will give you a receipt. You go to him and pay. This is not the last time. If we catch someone else tomorrow, we are going to charge them even more. Then it will be 50 rupees. And secondly, since you promised before everyone that this will not happen again, we have been considerate and charged you only 500 rupees. But next time, even for a goat, it will be 50 rupees. Remember this, we have all taken this decision. Do you accept it?
Yes, I accept. I was only saying it was a mistake.
You are paying the fine then?
Yes, I accept.
So now this is solved. See that your cattle doesn't stray this way again. We would suffer a great loss if grazing continues. The soil that we are trying to protect becomes loose when the cattle walk around and then it washes away in the rains. Another point is, after the rains, the new sprouts that come out of the soil are trampled upon by the cattle and get destroyed. Since the ban on grazing, the number of cattle have reduced in our village. We were 13 of us in a group that went to Vadgaon. Rajapure Sahib gave us training. We felt that when we return, we can bring changes in our village. Then a committee was formed. Initially, we went through some problems. There were a few misunderstandings about the presidentship. Then on the subject of grazing, as to how to handle the ban.
चराईबंदीच्या विषयासाठी आपण कसं हँडल करायचं
त्यावेळेस कसं होतं की लोकांना चराईबंदीचा एवढा म्हणजे अभ्यास नव्हता झालेला.
At that time, people didn't know much about this ban on grazing. People didn't think anything would come out of it. Subsequently, there was some bitterness, but we managed to smoothen it out. Then everybody supported us and we formed a watershed committee.
पाणलोट समितीवर सक्रिय झाली की बा असं नंतर व्हायला नाही पाहिजे.
It was agreed that if a member of the committee is harassed by anyone from the village, the entire watershed committee and the village should support the member. Only then the ban on grazing can be effective. Just one person alone cannot enforce a ban on grazing. The entire village has to cooperate.
देऊ शकते कारण की एक माणूस तर चराईबंदी करू शकत नाही ना, पूर्ण गावाचं सहकार्य पाहिजे.
आपण एकटा जर आता 4 माणसाचं पुढे
It's a group effort and not of just one person, and it gives us confidence.
तर या लोकसहभाग करण्यामागे आम्हाला पुष्कळ अवघड गेलं. पहिल्यांदा काय झालं, आम्हाला पुष्कळ अवघड गेलं. कसं अवघड?
Actually, it was quite a difficult task to get people involved in the initial stages. People did not know anything. They didn't have any experience of a collective activity.
संस्थेचे संस्थापक चेअरमन आमचे सगळीचे देशाई आले, डावरे साहेब आले.
Then Davre Saab and Anjali madam came and we called a big village meeting. In the meeting they guided us properly.
ग्रामसभा घेतल्यानंतर त्यांनी सविस्तर मध्ये आम्हाला चांगल्या प्रकारचं मार्गदर्शन केले आणि त्या मार्गदर्शनामध्ये आम्हाला खरंच फारच आनंद वाटला आणि चांगलं वाटलं.
People started to think that all this is relevant and it is for our benefit and we have to ourselves work towards it. Keeping that in mind, we got together. We realized that unless we come together, we cannot achieve any success.
दृष्टिकोनातून आम्ही समजा एकत्र सर्व लोक एकत्र आलो. एकत्र आल्यानंतर मग समजा जाणीव होऊ लागली की हे चांगल्यासाठी आपण एकत्र येऊ लागले आणि एकत्र जोपर्यंत आपण येणार नाही तोपर्यंत कोणतंही काम सक्सेस होऊ शकत नाही.
आणि गावातल्या लोकांचा संपूर्ण विरोध होऊ नये.
There was opposition from the villagers. People wondered, where shall we graze our cattle? It appeared as though it was a personal issue. This is how they misunderstood. So in the beginning, we started the ban on grazing with the CBP or the capacity building phase so that people feel involved and they feel it's their issue.
जे सीबीपी पहिल्या सुरुला जे काम केलं तितकीच मर्यादेपुरतं आम्ही ते चराईबंदी काम केलं आहे. एक वेळ जनावर पकडले आम्ही त्याची.
We caught the cattle and took them to the committee. Then they asked to pay the fine. There were arguments over it.
दंड लावून काही झगडे समितीवाद केले.
काही लोकांना आम्ही पकडलं आणि फाईन वगैरे केला. या बाजूच्या गावची होती.
We caught a few cattle and fined the owners. They were from the neighboring village. So they came at night and destroyed the cotton and mango plants in my orchard. It cost me around 15,000 rupees.
सरकी वगैरे आम्ही लावलेली होती, आंबे. ते रात्रीची वेळेस येऊन त्या लोकांनी ती सरकी माझी जवळपास 15,000ची नुकसान केली. आज आपलं नुकसान जर केलं आणि आपण जर पाठीमागे राहिलो.
Today, if there's a loss and if people who have been initiators back out, everyone will get a wrong message. They wouldn't want to be involved with the watershed program. They can think that even the Sarpanch suffered losses. We are much poorer. The same can happen to us too. So people should not lose faith. So despite everything, I got involved with this work with even more enthusiasm.
अजून जास्त प्रोत्साहनाने काम केलेलं आहे.
फिशर डॉक्टर साहेब काय ते ना आलते.
Dr. Fisher had come here. He asked us how much fine had been collected so far. What will you do to stop the problem of grazing? We said we will charge a fine. So he asked, what would you do if you saw my cattle grazing here? I said, charge a fine. Then he said, let's assume you have caught 10 of my animals here. So here is my 500 rupee fine. So that's how it started after that 500 rupee fine.
तेव्हापासून सुरुवात झाली आम्ही ढोरा हाणून 500 रुपये दंड घ्यायला.
चराईबंदी करायला की हे परगावचे.
Once what happened was, when the ban on grazing started, some people from another village, from Chincholi, they were shepherds. What they did was, they started throwing stones at us. They had knives. We were just 4 of us. And at that time, the work was in progress on the other side. One of us went and called 25 laborers who were there to join us. So we were about 30 of us now. And there were just 4 of them. They threw stones, showed knives to threaten us. But we were now 25 of us. So we forced their cattle out and took it to the committee.
मग आम्ही जबरदस्तीने त्याचे जनावर आम्ही गावात हाणून नेले. मग समितीच्या समोर नेल्यावर मग आता त्याने तिथं आता आमच्यावर जे चाकू घेऊन येऊ लागले.
At the office, these people who were threatening us with knives started to beg. We are sorry, we were ignorant, we did not know at that time. Then the committee fined them and they paid up.
काय समजना हे टाइम बोलवाले. त्या टाइमला समितीने त्याला दंड लावला. दंड त्याने बरोबर दिला दंड.
मग आता तुमच्या गावात भांडण तंटा झाला.
There was a fight in your village. Was that good or bad?
नाही वाईट झालं.
No, it was bad that there was a fight. We tried to talk to them and then it was solved. In fact, the same people who were fighting caught some cattle the next day.
So people wouldn't have understood the reason for ban on grazing if the fight hadn't taken place.
No. Our women's committee too had taken a decision that even women should go there. Just as 2 or 3 men are supposed to go, 2 or 3 women would also go.
परत 2-2, 3-3 बायां जायचं.
प्रत्येक महिलाला
We called all women, 3 to 4 women from the committee. We went to every house and spoke to them.
की जे जनावर चराईबंदीच्या आत येतील त्या जनावराला 20 रुपये फाईन ठरले.
For the cattle that entered the forbidden area, a fine of rupees 20 was fixed per animal. Everyone agreed on that. 20 rupees was accepted. And it was decided that 10 rupees will go to the committee and 10 would be paid to the person who caught the animals. This was decided by the committee. So accordingly, an amount of 640 rupees was deposited in the maintenance fund by me.
निधीच्या फंडामध्ये जमा करण्यात आला. ते असं झालं की आमचे वॉटरचे डावरे साहेबच स्वतः.
What happened was Mr. Davare from Water had gone on a visit, and unfortunately some cattle was spotted grazing then. And then it was brought to the village, and as a president, I personally accepted the fine of 640 rupees for my cattle.
स्वीकारलो आणि ते 640 रुपये एकदम पहिल्यांदा सुरू केलं माझ्यापासून. त्याच्यामुळे आता त्याच्यानंतर कोणी म्हणजे दंड लागायचा प्रश्नच आला नाही.
After that, there was no question of anybody getting fined, and nobody grazed the cattle there. If the members of the committee were paying the fine, there was no issue of others asking for favors. People realized this, that there was no question of bypassing the rules. After that, there was no complaint. In fact, we haven't had to guard the place, and there is a big reserve of fodder.
त्याच्यावर एवढं म्हणजे आता चारा आहे की आज 3-3, 4-4 फूट गवत आहे तिथे.
आतापर्यंत एकूण दंड चराईबंदीवर 14,000 रुपये झाले आणि जे लोक जनावर आणतात.
So far, we have collected 14,000 rupees as fine on the account of the grazing ban. And those who spot and bring such cattle get 50% of the fine. Till now, 7,000 rupees has been given to people and 7 have gone into the maintenance fund. 50 rupees are charged because it should be an affordable sum. If we decide to fine them 100 or 200 rupees, then it would be impossible to collect it. So it's not a business to make money. It's only so that people are careful and disciplined. Only for that purpose.
एक 50 रुपये लहान रक्कम ठेवलेली आहे.
शिस्त लोकांना लागली पाहिजे ना. कशी लागेल शिस्त ते सांगा थोडं. शिस्त
People should be disciplined, isn't it? How to do that?
म्हणजे दंड पाड
After some people were fined, then others began to be careful. Wouldn't let their cattle wander. They were disciplined.
So only through a fine the ban would be effective.
No, even without it, people should follow the rules. But the fear of the fine has to be there.
In the forest department, is there a watchman?
Yes.
In the forest department, the watchman guards, and here the committee keeps a watch. So then which works better, forest department or the committee?
महाराष्ट्राचं कसं आहे साहेब?
The way the forest department works, there's no room for anyone to complain. And when the forest guards catch someone, everyone says, why did you go into the restricted area in the first place? While if someone is caught in the village, people are lenient. They let the offender go easily. They just say, don't do it again.
म्हणून असं ते जाऊ द्या हो, द्या सोडून हो, असं म्हणतात.
That's not how the forest department deals.
तसं नाही चालत ना.
No, this doesn't work there. They register a complaint.
Which one do you prefer then?
I find our method better, but people should understand this.
Is the villagers' method better?
Yes, if people are willing to listen to you, isn't it a good thing? It's good for everyone.
It's good to have some pressure from the society.
हा?
Of course, it's good to have your own village listen to you.
जे आमचं काम लोकसभा गावामध्ये असल्यामुळं आणि समजा गावचं नियंत्रण तिथं असल्यामुळं आमचं चराईबंदी होऊ शकते. पण शासनाचं तसं नाही.
The ban on grazing succeeded in our village because the people were actively involved in it. But with the government, it's not the same. Just one guard watches over a large area, and he's only bothered about his salary. He comes for a day and then disappears for 10 days. Since the people are not involved, they don't care. They say, let the cattle graze. What is it to us? So the cattle go and graze in the forest land. But that is not how we work.
त्यामुळे ते निष्काळजी करतात लोक. जायला चढ द्या की मग आपलं काय गेलं चाललं. एक दिवस येतात, 8-10 दिवस येत नाहीत. त्याच्यामुळे तिथं बोगस काम होते आणि ढोर जनावर ऑटोमॅटिक मध्ये जातात. पण आपलं तसं नाही.
This ban that a village committee has imposed, if it was imposed through the police, would it work?
गावातले ऐकलं नसतं.
The villagers wouldn't have listened.
Why?
Because the whole village is together, this ban on grazing and cutting trees has materialized.
And if the police were involved?
What would have police done? This work is progressing because the village is united and we hold regular meetings. Are people in majority or the police? Who would listen to the police?
पोलीस तर नाही यायला पाहिजेत ना.
Police should not be involved. Things should be sorted among the people themselves.
पोलीस हे पैशाच्या पाठीमागे असल्यामुळे कसं आहे की त्यांचा हात
If these issues are taken to the police, they are interested in money. And if we register a complaint with them, then we have to keep following it. They visit us. I have to keep doing the rounds of the police station. And if we manage to solve the problem through the committee, then people also know about it. Young people get to know about it. It encourages equality among the villagers. That someone is fined and the decision is taken by all of us.
आपण त्याला दंड ठेवला आणि ह्या गावातच मिटवला गावात केल्यामुळे
Because it is solved within the village itself, the feeling of unity grows. Also, more people become aware of the issue.
आणि हा मोठा कार्यक्रम आहे पुढे न्यायचा आपल्याला
This is an important program which needs to be developed. We should not involve the police in it. The problem should be solved within the village itself.
हे गावातच निपटायचे काम आहे
When the cattle were brought before the committee and there was a meeting, if the women were not there or if the women were not involved in this program, then what would have happened?
महिला नसल्यावर आता पुरुषाचा काही झगडा होत होता.
If women hadn't been there, the men would fight among themselves. There would be arguments and such things. Because there were arguments, we women went there to say that we don't want any fighting. We need fodder for our cattle, but they said don't bring them here. Graze them somewhere else. They couldn't argue much in front of women, so they paid the fine and took the cattle away.
घेऊन गेले ते ना. आमच्या संग भांड
They started to fight with us, but we didn't let them. All the women went together and took the cattle away. They said, what do women understand? Where do we graze our cattle then? What's the use of all this to us? So we said that we have formed a saving group. We didn't know about banking. We went to the bank and deposited some money there, started some transaction. So that's the benefit. You don't see any use. We women have benefited from it. We will not allow your cattle to graze. When we said that, they stopped coming.
सोड देना म्हणल्यानं त्यानं बंद केले.
Do you think this subject of ban on grazing is an issue only for men?
No, not like that. But we don't get time to go to the meetings and listen to everything.
Is it not that this subject concerns men and women cannot attend to it?
We can look into it too, but men take more interest and are more visible in it.
Why do men take more interest?
Because men don't have to do household chores.
Or is there some other reason?
No, nothing else.
You mean men enjoy the process of finding someone?
Oh, where is the fun in it?
नाही का?
The fine is because the plants are destroyed. How can it be fun?
Anda Patil,
What?
the committee is calling you.
What for?
Your cattle entered the watershed area.
Maybe they did, but I don't know anything about your watershed.
You don't know anything like that? But if they've gone,
If they've gone, it's fine, and they will go again.
you think you can bully us?
Yes.
Okay, don't tell me anything. Come to meet the committee over there.
Let the committee come here.
How can the committee come here?
Why not? Where else do we graze our cattle?
This area belongs to everybody.
Then show us another grazing area.
Graze them on your farm.
The cattle will graze anywhere.
The 50 lakhs that we have spent, is it to graze the cattle?
You may have spent that much, but where do we go?
Listen, don't talk of yours and mine. The watershed belongs to everyone.
Fine, it belongs to everyone. But what about our cattle?
Did you hear the announcement?
Yes.
What was announced?
Whatever it may be, we don't accept it.
What do you want to say?
You are right. The cattle should not enter the watershed area. But then show us a place where we can graze them.
This program is for the village, and if one person creates problem, is that a wise thing?
Then find a solution to graze my cattle.
Why don't you cut some grass and feed your cattle at home?
Your grass is going to grow in 2 months. I need to feed my cattle today. So just show us a proper place to graze our cattle.
Are we supposed to show you the place?
Of course.
We have witnessed it ourselves. When we were caught, we paid the fine. But earlier too, you had let Anda Patil go. I myself have paid 100 rupees fine for the maintenance fund. How can you explain that? Why did the committee let him go? Didn't you let him go or not? I touched your feet.
What is this ban on grazing? Tell us more about it.
आपल्या गावाला पाणलोट आलं
We started the ban because we took up the watershed program, isn't it? Then will the results show immediately or after a while? If we allow the grass to grow and stock it for feeding the cattle, the milk production will also grow.
ते दूध देतात.
अरे चराईबंदी केल्यामुळे
You know how cattle destroy plants. If plants grow, the roots go deep in the soil and it helps retain water. So it benefits us. The village is becoming barren and dry.
ओसाडवून चाललंय सगळं.
So how do we benefit from it later?
What do you mean? Unless you begin, how can things work? One has to work for it, guard it, take care of the plants. No, his cattle will have to be tied up.
50 रुपये तुम्ही डांगोरी दिले.
The 50 rupees fine was announced, wasn't it? The rule was decided collectively and then announced.
Call all the women from your group.
The women are here. Come on, ladies, come forward. Let us see how they dare to take the cattle away.
अशा पद्धतीने ही चर्चा व्हायला नको पाहिजे.
Listen, this is not the way to discuss the problem. All of you are sensible people. We have visited Anna Hazare's village Ralegaon Siddhi. We have seen how important this work is. It's going to benefit more than one generation. And remember, it's not for us, but for the coming generation that we must take this up. Please try to understand this. Don't get agitated over this. The committee isn't going to do anything harmful. They're doing everything for the village. The CCTs are complete and we have planted trees there. In this way, we have done a lot of work in the whole area. Now if your cattle go in that area, how will the plantation survive?
तर आता ते राहील काय? राहू शकणार आपण.
That's true. We will keep the cattle out of the CCTs and the plantations. But just as you need to protect the soil, the cattle needs to be fed. They too have to live. So give us a solution.
त्यासाठी आम्हाला मार्ग सांगा. तू ऐकून घे की.
Listen to me. What you should do is, you should sell half of your cattle for a period of 5 years.
Sell my cattle.
Sell only half.
And then what do I do?
Please don't take away what belongs to the village.
What sort of rule is this telling us to sell our cattle?
No, there are no rules. We are doing it for our own good.
आपण करायचं.
हो की पण तू रे-
Alright, but let our cattle be and you do your development work. But is it fair to make us sell our cattle?
हे ना पण तुम्हाला माहित आहे की नाही?
Listen, Anda Patil, don't you know people have...
So, just because we have taken up this work, do we have to sell our cattle?
याच्यात गाई चरत
हा बघ,
गाई म्हणून
तुला
लाड
सांगतो
करतात.
आता एक.
Listen to me. Don't go against the committee.
Committee and all is okay, but selling our cattle is too much.
You tie your cattle or do whatever. Cut some grass to feed them.
The grass you are talking about will be ready after 4 months. What about now?
पहिला आमच्या बचत
Your wife is in our saving group. We will not give her any loan. We will expel her from the group. In the meeting, we are going to tell all the women. Someone's husband, someone's son might be grazing their cattle. Each one has to make them understand.
We don't accept this decision. We are not paying anything. Do what you like.
आता हा जो कार्यक्रम आहे
In this program, even if the water level increases, it will be of no use to the landless people. And besides, they'll have to find a new place to graze their cattle or be forced to sell them. So what do they gain from the program?
काय फायद्याचं आहे?
हो त्यांच्या दृष्टीने
That's true. They don't see any use of this program. Maybe they aren't going to get anything out of this. But many others are going to benefit from it. Just because one person is not benefiting, should the whole village suffer?
सगळ्या गावचीच नुकसान करून घ्यावं काय?
Don't you feel they are being excluded from this program?
नाही त्यांना वगळं नाही त्याला घेऊनच आहे. त्यांना जमीन जरी नसली
No. They aren't excluded. They are very much part of our program. Like even if they don't possess any land, they are involved in the preparation of the land as labor. And they are part of our loan scheme. Whether it is the saving group where the committee has given some loans and there are more plans of which they will very much be a part of. So they have already and are going to benefit from it. They haven't been sidelined because they are landless. Not at all. They are with us. That's what I feel.
त्याच्या आमच्यामध्ये मिसळूनच आहेत असं मला वाटते. त्याला अशी समजूत बी घालता येतो बाबा तुमचं उपयोगी नाही. तुम्ही थोडं थांबलं तर सगळ्या गावचा 50 माणसाचा फायदा होते ना.
We have to convince them that even if you have nothing to gain, if you cooperate, the village is going to profit from it for the next 50 years. It is okay if one person isn't gaining anything, but if the water crisis is over, even they will benefit in the future. So if we convince them to be patient now, everyone will be benefited and you will be benefited even more.
तुम्ही थोडं आता थांबा सगळ्याचा फायदा होईल उलट तुमचा दुप्पटीने फायदा होईल. आम्ही ते चराईबंदीमुळे छिनून घेतला हे खरं आहे.
It's true perhaps that the ban on grazing has deprived them, but the landless labor works for us farmers, rather they are dependent on us. So they can certainly take some fodder from us. That's not difficult. When they come for the harvesting, we keep some, specially to use as fodder. They can take some of it.
इंधन आलं खुरपून देतात किंवा सहज आलं तर धुऱ्याचा जे आम्ही खास धुरे जनावरांसाठी कापून टाकायचे ठेवतो.
When someone comes to work, the person carries a bunch back with him. Their cattle graze on our land, sometimes by the road or a pond, on the fringes, leaving the main area of plantation. So it's going on smoothly. There hasn't been an issue.
मुख्य सोडून चरई त्याच्यामध्ये ते आराम चालतात, त्याच्यात काही प्रश्न तेवढा फार उद्भवलेला नाही.
आम्हाला वाटतो
What we feel is, when there are long-term benefits, so even if they are not visible today, everyone is going to get something later, isn't it?
पावली तर केव्हा न केव्हा तरी उलट सगळ्याचा फायदा आहे ना.
आम्हाला ढोरं चारवण्यासाठी खूप अडचण येते त्या चराईबंदीमुळे.
We face many problems while grazing our cattle because of this ban. There is no grazing land left. We have to graze our cattle in the banned area, and because of the ban, we face problems. If we keep the cattle at home, two people have to work on them, to feed them, to keep the shed clean, etc. Whereas here in the fields, just one person can look after them for the whole day.
एकच माणूस ते काम बघू शकते. ते ठिकाणावर बांधून जर ठेवलं,
If they are tied down in one place, they can't feed properly. Whereas in the fields, they roam freely and feed well. And they give more milk.
खाल्लं तर दिवसभर चांगला आरामशीर खाते आणि दूध सुद्धा जास्त देऊ शकते ते. आमच्या आता भूमी नसल्यामुळे आम्ही ते जनावर पाळे. जनावरांची सुद्धा त्याच्यात संगोपन व्हावे ह्या हेतून ते.
Since we have the cattle, we have to feed them. Now about this program, the committee is kind of vague. They ask us not to graze our cattle in these areas. And since we have to feed our cattle, they have to help us find another field. If they find an option for us to graze our cattle, that will be helpful. Some areas should be reserved for cattle and rest can be banned from grazing. Both the sides should be looked at.
दोन्ही पर्याय आमच्या हेतून.
You have to cut the grass for the cattle, isn't it? Is that a problem? No, there's no problem.
Anyway, there was no grass to cut earlier.
Since the water level is increased, there is more grass now because the water is retained. This year it has grown more, and there is generally more water in the lowlands even for the cattle. So we feel that if we are together, the village will develop more. Now it's the hillsides, later the farmland will come under it. After that there will be even more water. The crops will increase and fodder will also increase.
What is the trouble? We have to cut some grass. That's all.
एवढे बाकी दुसरं काय.
Where are you from? Malchandra. Where are you off to? Carrying grass for my buffaloes. Where did you get it from? From the banned area. What's that? I mean now that grazing is banned in that area. Earlier that was a grazing land. Now it's banned. Earlier you never had to cut the grass. Earlier we used to graze the cattle there. So now in this watershed program, what is the use of growing grass? Has it been useful? They had told us that we can cut the grass. Now when trees grow tall, grass also grows underneath. It will go on as long as it can. We'll see. Okay, so now there's a ban on grazing here. Did you suffer any loss because of that? No, we haven't suffered. On the contrary, it has been good. There are no fights or drinking in the village. This is good. That's what I feel. You are talking about the work that is happening here. Because of that, there is a ban. On this side, trees have been planted, grass is planted, and they've banned cutting it, isn't it? Cattle isn't allowed there. Earlier, was there any grass which one could cut? No, but the cattle is not allowed in it, isn't it? Did you suffer any loss because of that? Losses, but we come to work here. I think it's better this way.
म्हणजे अशी शिस्त राहिली पाहिजे ना चराईबंदीची.
The ban on grazing should continue to be observed in the same disciplined manner. If we are not disciplined, the trees will be destroyed. All the effort will be wasted. This watershed program should continue in the same systematic manner.
Should the committee enforce discipline or should the people of the village do it?
Both the committee and the people have to be disciplined. No matter how much noise the committee makes, if people don't cooperate, what can the committee do?
नेमकं काय आता हेच आता कोणी बोलले तर पहिल्यांदा बोलत होते पण आता नाही बोलत ना कोणी समजून सांगायला आले बोलत नाही त्याला.
Nobody disagrees anymore. They have realized the importance of this work. They know that it is for the common good.
इतके दिवस कळत नव्हतं.
Till now they were not aware. Now that they understand, they don't object anymore.
Is that so?
खरंच खरंच नाही मग दाटून थोडं सांगू राहिलो तुम्हाला आम्ही.
Of course it's true. Why should we lie to you? We're not saying it simply to please you.
Anda Patil,
What?
the committee is calling you.
What for?
Your cattle entered the watershed area.
If they've gone, it's fine, and they will go again.
Are you trying to bully us?
Yes.
At that time, people didn't know much about this ban on grazing. People didn't think anything would come out of it.
काही होऊ शकत नाही.
आपल्या चराईबंदीमध्ये जे ढोरं आलेले आहेत तुमचे,
We had told you about the ban on grazing. We even visited your village, didn't we? If cattle enter the watershed area, we are not going to excuse that.
आल्याच्या नंतर आम्ही त्याच्यामध्ये कोणत्याही प्रकारची गय घेतली जाणार नाही. कारण का जिथं काय 50
The 50 lakhs that we have spent, is it to graze the cattle?
You may have spent that much, but where do we go?
Listen, don't talk of yours and mine.
Fine, but what about our cattle?
काम किती आज हा
The cost of a project runs into lakhs of rupees. For us, it's more important than our crops.
आहे ते गावासाठी.
All right, but let our cattle be, and you do your development work.
The fine is because the plants are destroyed. How can it be fun? Police should not be involved. Things should be sorted among the people themselves. Because the whole village is together, this ban on grazing and cutting trees has materialized.
We face many problems while grazing our cattle because of this ban.
तरच काय आता जेवढं
What is the trouble? We have to cut some grass. That's all.
एवढं आहे, बाकी दुसरं काय.
ठिकाणावर बांधून जर ठेवलं
If they are tied down in one place, they can't feed properly.
शकत नाही, ती अपुरा खाऊन ती तसंच घाण करते. ज्यांच्याकडे शेती नाही ते आमच्या शेतावर कामाला येतात.
The landless labor works for us farmers, rather they are dependent on us. So they can certainly take some fodder from us. That's not difficult.
सहजरित्या नेऊ शकतात. थोडासा भाग आमच्या ढोरायलाही द्यावा.
Some areas should be reserved for cattle and rest can be banned from grazing.
इतके दिवस कळत नव्हतं.
Till now they were not aware. Now that they understand, they don't object anymore.
मला ती बोलत नाही ना पुन्हा.
हे जे लावलेलं असं
You are paying the fine then? Do you accept it?
Yes, I accept.
So now this is solved. See that your cattle doesn't stray this way again.